are you?
Thanks for watching the movie.
Of course. I love the rom-com renaissance being back. It makes me
Happening.
very, very happy.
Yeah.
Uh, for you, getting to kind of dive in as the rom-com lead of this new age era of the rom-coms as they were, what was the fun for you of getting to play that role that, like, for about 10 years there was very few of them, if any?
Well, it's interesting because I feel like for about 10 years, I've just been doing projects where I either kill somebody or I get killed. So I was excited to, and it's such a dark time, I feel like, in human history in a lot of ways. And I was excited to do something warm-hearted and full of, love and hope. And that was sort of fun and accessible. And there was nobody better to do it with than Lucy Hale, who's kind of the rom-com queen. She's been keeping it alive for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, and I do like how layered these characters are because I feel like a lot of the times in rom-coms you have one very complicated layered person and then the other one is just
An
kind of
object of desire. Yeah.
and I do like that this movie they're both very complicated and we get to see that history throughout it. With when you are filming these like back these flashbacks where that you also are playing yourself however many years later,
Yeah.
you guys kind of map out like the trajectory of those scenes into the characters that we see when they meet at the wedding and the day they spend
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, we were really lucky that before shooting, me, Peter, and Lucy got to spend like a month working on the script and finding ways to make it more personal to us and things that we'd gone through. So I think that, as much as I related to Will's past relationships, I also related to a few of Jane's, and I think in general, I was excited about the idea that your past love kind of, past loves influence your ability to be pure and open-hearted in your new relationships. And I think there's a tendency to say, oh, I was in a bad spot then, or my ex was crazy, or and not really taking the complexity of what it was, and by doing that, you end up falling into the same uh, pitfalls and holes that you did in your last relationship. And then maybe there's some good to saying in a new relationship, hey, I have a tendency to X, Y, and Z. And they say, I have a tendency to do this. And then when those things start to rear their heads, you go, oh, maybe this is just my stuff coming up and it's not to do with us. Because it is hard to sometimes figure out what is you in this particular relationship and then what is just something that's going to come up with anybody.
Yeah, and two, I do really enjoy this movie because I talked to the director last week and I
Yeah.
said I instantly was taken into like looking at old rom-coms that I know and love because it was the Hamptons and I'm like so I was thinking of Something's Gotta Give the entire time because I was like that's where Jack Nicholson gets stuck with Diane Keaton.
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
And so he was saying how he wanted to call back to rom-coms and like do that so then it was still like an ode to the genre. Did you guys go through any of like inspirations for this or were you just approaching
Okay,
it?
I have a big list and I've been waiting for somebody to let me read it. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah,
Read them all out. I could do it really quickly, but you have to put it all in the interview,
I will
okay?
put all of them in there.
Promise. I'm gonna do them really fast, so it's not like, it's not taking up too much time. All right. When Harry Met Sally, Groundhog Day, Heaven Can Wait, Moonstruck, Say Anything, Bringing Up Baby, Broadcast News, His Girl Friday, Harold and Maude, The Apartment, The Big Sick, Annie Hall, Sleepless in Seattle, Long Shot, Silver Linings Playbook, Love Actually, Jerry Maguire, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, What's Up Doc, Clueless, Lost in Translation, About Time, The Wedding Singer, Eternal Sunshine, Notting Hill, Philadelphia Story.
That rules because I love all of those movies. So no notes on that inspiration, but it's
Right? No notes.
well, it's funny because you said What's Up Doc and I watched it recently because of Ryan O'Neal.
I know passing away. Yeah.
And I had never seen it, and my roommate and I were like, "Well, let's watch What's Up, Doc." And it's so so good, and it also works for this because it is these two people who are like just continually put back together, and they have to kind of find like where they're.
Actually kind of a perfect reference.
Yeah,
That What's Up, Doc? I actually had never seen Heaven Can Wait with Warren Beatty,
yeah,
and Warren Beatty's character is kind of a lovable rogue, like Will, and there was a couple there was a million that I went back to, but there was a few that I hadn't seen before. And I really like Peter Bogdanovich's movies, and he did What's Up, Doc? He also did Paper Moon, which I just rewatched like 3 days ago. It's not a rom-com, but it's just such a fucking masterpiece.
yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
When it's, I do think a lot of times when people ask about inspirations and like what movies people watch, it's normally geared towards the director that people ask that question of. Like I'm thinking of like, Greta Gerwig recently has been asked time and time again what movies she research for Barbie. And I
Yeah.
think it's also an important thing for actors because actors are like, no, I have to like figure out the vibe of the genre that I'm in the midst of. For you, is that something you do for all of your roles, or is this something that you like specifically were like, I had this list for rom-coms because it is such a new thing for me?
Total no, 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 I feel that with every role, and I actually find it exciting because I love watching movies, and then I love revisiting movies and I love finding new movies in the genre that I'm working in, but I find music, movies, books, tend to be such a good way into the tone of something you're working on, and it's a lot of times things you can't even grasp, why was that so inspiring? Or, there's something about it that really kind of helped you find it, and you try to explain why and you can't, but it ends up being a good touchstone also with the director. It's like, hey, you like this movie, I like this movie, there's an element of this. And it was interesting in Annie Hall, and when Harry Met Sally, there's the song It Had to Be You, and that was the reason that we brought that song into this, because we both, all three of us, loved those two movies. And it was kind of like a good callback to the rom-coms of an earlier generation.
I love it. And obviously what, benefits you and Lucy in this sense is that these two characters are meeting and falling in love within a day. So you have
Yeah,
the work of doing the like, well, what did you do to kind of connect and work this? Because those characters are also
kind of
included.
found it as we were going. That's such a good point. Yeah.
But
Holy shit, did I not put Before Sunrise on that? Jesus Christ.
like I gotta add it.
So embarrassing. Yeah, Before Sunrise, I'm putting
And
that
that
on.
really fits for this. But
Maybe it's like too obvious. Maybe it's like a good one. Maybe there was some reason why I left it off subconsciously.
but I think for you, when you are kind of like thrown into that and you are building that relationship, do you and Lucy have conversations about these characters, or do you just find them through the process of filming?
Well, we immediately had like a really good vibe, and we had met 10 years before on a red carpet, and she actually tweeted about me that night at like 2 in the morning and said Nat Wolff might be the cutest, but I didn't find out about that until like years later. I was so bummed that I didn't know about that at the time. And then I saw her on a hike one time at Runyon Canyon, and I was so excited because she had tweeted about me, and I waved to her and she looked scared, and she kind of put her headphones on and walked faster away. And I thought, yeah, this is not that didn't go exactly how I wanted to go. And then I got offered this movie, and she was the one who had the idea for me. So I'm very grateful to her. But then we had about a month of working on the script with Peter, and sort of laying the groundwork and making it more personal to us. And then we just sort of jumped in, and Peter let us be free. So there was a lot of improvising, a lot of goofing around, and it just felt effortless in a way that I feel like tends to work the best on screen.
Thank you so much for talking with me. I love the movie.
I
Um,
know. Yeah.
thank you. I really
Thank you
appreciate
so much
that.
for talking to me, Rachel. Yeah, I'm glad you saw What's Up, Doc. That's so weird. Like, nobody's seen that movie.
Yeah, well, I love Babs, and so when he died, we were trying to figure out what movie to watch, and my roommate was like, "Well, we love Barbara Streisand too. Why don't we just watch What's Up,
Yeah.
Doc?"
Who doesn't love Babs?
Yeah.
Did you see Wish We Were Here, or like no, no, no,
Are you talking about the Zach Braff movie?
no, the one with Barbara Streisand, and I said the title of Zach Braff, but it had
Oh,
a title like that, but it's
The
Barbara
Way We Were.
Streisand, The Way We Were with Robert Redford.
Yeah,
It
I'm
kind
at
of
my mom's, and that's her favorite Robert Redford movie,
He's
like
so
rom-com.
good in it. He's incredible in it. Yeah, yeah. It's not really a rom-com though. I actually watched it for this because they I mean, it's really, he really is like not into her for the majority of, I mean, for almost the
That and
entire movie.
Funny Girl are not romantic
I
movies because
know,
there's
Funny
two men
Girl's really
who
nice.
don't like
Funny,
her.
I know they just don't like, she's like really, and I love her in the movie. I'm super like into her and attracted to her, but all these guys are kind of like,
Yeah, it's weird.
oh,
I'm like,
interesting.
Babs, fall in love with her. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's Babs.
But thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And I can't wait for people to get to see the movie.
I can't wait either. Okay. Great
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
Great one. Bye.
Bye.